Hello walkers, and welcome back to Livingston, Montana. Give you a little view of me. I'm Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide as I take you around our little town again. And today's a little bit special because it's Farmers Markets Day, and I'm going to walk you through Farmers Market a little bit down here by the river, show you what people are doing, what they're up to, and then we'll head uptown to downtown and see what's going on there. It's probably not a very long walk, but it should be interesting and beautiful, and I'll talk along the way as I always do. So let's get to it. The farmers market is, we got somebody flying a drone here. That looks like fun. The farmers market's every Wednesday throughout the summer, and today they've got music, some bluegrass playing. My friend Jim is playing on the fiddle up there. Another friend, Annabella, played earlier, and they've got a bike rodeo going on as well. My kids, or at least one of them, is over here floating around in the river like you do on a hot summer's day. Let me look up the details of today, actually, and I'll tell you that. I do know it is July 14th. Hopefully I can do this without turning off the recorder. And it's probably mid-80s, I'm going to guess. Let's look that up. Oh, my battery's almost dead on the phone. 70 degrees. Wow. Oh, no, 88 degrees, sorry. And that is, as I look this up here, that's 31 degrees Celsius. And it is about 7:12 p.m. You see kids floating around down there. I don't see my oldest. He was swimming around down there earlier. You can see the pass and the wine glass. Over there you can see Sleeping Giant and Livingston Peak. But we are going to continue on here, and I'm just going to walk you through the farmers market because it's fun. I'll try to speak over the music. I do like the music, but I also don't like getting copyright infringement notices because I don't want to violate other people's copyright. But it is being put out here. It's public performance, so I don't feel too bad about it. You got your standard noodle stand here. It's one of the few places we can get vegetarian food. And then over here, we'll walk around, is Neptune's beer stand, one of two beer stands. They're a local brewery, great, love their Pine Creek Ale and their IPA. You've got some, they're packing up, but because it is a little late, barbecue. You've got lemonade, awesome lemonade here. He also runs Empty Cup. I'm gonna pan around here, and we'll go over to the fish tacos. It's actually a couple people aren't here this week. There's usually more food purveyors. And then you've got Catabatic in the red tent. They're the other brewery in town. You got the band shell. We'll just walk up there. I probably won't talk because I can't compete with that audio. All right. Hey, Doc. How you doing? It's funny to walk through here and see people that I know and sort of get looks like, what are you doing? We've got a honey purveyor, and we will loop around here in a minute. They're doing this bike rally and giving away bikes. A young child was hit by a car a couple years ago, and this is sort of a memorial and fundraiser for him. And sponsored by Dan Bailey's, a local outdoor shop, as well as some others. And a lot of volunteers out here helping, getting kids on bikes, teaching bike safety, that sort of thing. But that's Sacagawea Lagoon. You guys have seen before if you've been with here. We're going to loop back around and see some of these other vendors. It's still a little bit early for us to have a lot of produce, but we got some produce here. Looks good. Fair number of soap makers, and here we got some greens. Some people with some harvest to sell. I love farmers markets because you can get fresh, locally made or locally grown veggies and fruits. And here in Montana, we're a big ag state, so we also have meat producers. So over here is Miller Farms, and I believe, I don't know if it's actually the case, but I'll show you them in a second. There's some honey. I believe they got started when they sold their kids sold a 4-H pig and decided to turn it into a business. So they've been doing this for years now, and it's fantastic. And that's kind of the extent of our farmers market. It's not huge, but it is busy, and it's a lot of fun, and it's good. I've been wandering around saying hello to everybody. It's a lot of fun just to see people and have some small talk and then move on. You can see the mountains in the background. We're gonna walk over here across the parking lot. Oh, I smell the candy, we call it cotton candy and candy corn and all the cooking, all the grilling, barbecue, that sort of thing. We actually rode our bikes down here today, excuse me, because it's so close and because Livingston's just a small town. We can pretty much bike anywhere we need to go. We got the high school and the baseball fields over here, and that sort of thing. I did miss posting a video on Monday. I do apologize, especially to those of you who have signed up for Patreon. I feel like I let you down a little bit. I got super busy. We had family in town. Chaos ensued around plans and change of plans, and I just didn't get it done. So I'm trying to work my way around that. Summer in Montana is sort of a frenzy. You get about maybe 90 days. We've had a longer one this year because it started early, but you want to cram in all the outdoor activities you can while you can. Enjoy the weather, enjoy the river, enjoy the mountains, enjoy the trails. And so I haven't had a lot of time I haven't made the time to go out and film a lot of walks. So my apologies there, but I'll get back on it. I still got to do a Forest Fen walk. I think I mentioned in an earlier walk. Here's our skate park. Lots of fun here. Tony Hawk came through here a couple years ago. Just surprise visit, and just was a thrill for all the kids and the adults that skate here. You can tell it's a lot of fun. You can also tell that the sun's actually still pretty high. We're up north here, so it sets a little later. In mid-June, late June, around the solstice, it'll set around 10, I think, and it'll be light well past 11. It's not like the way far north, but it still means you can't do outdoor theaters very much. We'll take a quick look at the lagoon. You can see how many cars are here. We get a lot of people coming over from Bozeman this year. We also have a lot of people that are new in town. I met a guy today who had just moved here from Maine. That was interesting. Nice to meet him. He moved here because his kids were here and grandkids. Here's the city pool. Now I've heard for 2 years now that they're going to close this because we'll go peek over the fence. Because it's too expensive to operate because of all the leaks. And they still keep it open, which I think is good. Lots of kids learn how to swim here. My kids learned how to swim here. And it's a nice resource to have, and it would be very tough to not have a pool in town. So I'm glad they're keeping it open. I wish we could come up with some money to fix it or rebuild it or build another one. Uh-oh. It is that time of day, my friends. I feel you, buddy. I love this little apartment row house thing up here. I just feel like it's perfect. It would be perfect for like a cafe or a coffee shop with this little, all the shade and trees and stone fence and stuff, but it's a private residence. Maybe someday, somebody, me maybe I'll start a coffee shop. So the reason I'm doing this at night, one, it's cool to see the farmer's market and see what's going on here. But also people have requested that I do some evening walks. And I thought that was a great idea. I'd hoped to do one last Saturday, but we were late getting off the river. I was actually going to do a live stream. So that didn't work out. Like I said, schedules, all that stuff, excuses. But I'm back on it. And hopefully I'll get this up. This is Wednesday. And I usually release on Thursday. And I've been thinking that just to give myself a break, excuse me, I might go back to 2 videos a week from 3, at least until September. We live a long way from a lot of places, so it's hard to get a bunch of walks in easily. It involves a lot of miles on the car and a lot of time. So I'm going to dial that back just a little bit until September, I think, and then we'll see from there, probably go back up to 3. I'll probably try to throw in some live streams though. And so keep an eye out for those, and I will try to announce them ahead of time. I can't seem to figure out how to do that, to announce them ahead of time and then have the Prism software link into that particular item in YouTube. So I'm gonna mess around with that. Maybe I'll try just using the YouTube app natively. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do there. I'm gonna tell you what street we're on, which I think is 2nd. Pretty confident we're on 2nd. When you're in a town this small, you know the names of the streets, but you don't always know which one's which at any given time. This is Geyser up here that we're gonna cross, and 2nd. Just like I said. Pardon my frog in my throat. We have had, well, that's another reason I didn't film this weekend, was it was so smoky, you guys. We've had so much wildfire smoke here. Big fires in Idaho, of course the big one down in Oregon-California border, and then several multi-thousand acre fires here in Montana. And we have just been getting hammered with smoke. It's actually kind of clear today, which is nice. So it activates my sinuses, and it's kind of gross, but the phlegm response, for lack of a better word, with all those particulates in the air getting into our lungs, and our bodies are trying to fight that off. But what a beautiful time of day to be here in Livingston, Montana. So nice and quiet. It will probably be fairly quiet downtown because most people are down at the farmer's market for the evening. Another thing, I was talking to somebody about doing a live stream of an art walk. That would be on a Friday, not this Friday, but a Friday. And I was thinking maybe we could go around and to the various galleries and maybe talk to some people and about the artwork they have on hand, maybe some of the artists. And let me know in the comments section if you think that would be interesting. Hopefully you would. I think it'd be fun, and I'd love to interact with you guys. As I've said several times, it's one of the most fun parts of doing these. That, and of course, travel. And that's another, I think I sort of alluded to that. One of the reasons I'm going to dial it back a bit is we're not traveling right now. I mean, we're traveling for work, and that leaves a little bit of time to pick up some walks. But for the next couple months, we're not going to be traveling even regionally. And as I mentioned, that makes getting new places and interesting places a little bit more challenging. I'm thinking about doing another little road trip, day-long road trip down to Cody and the area around there, maybe Thermopolis. But we'll see. I also want to do this forest fen hike. He did this treasure, and this guy from Tasmania contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing that walk, and I was very interested in it, so I'm going to try and fit that in the next couple weeks. First Interstate Bank. This is their temporary location while they've been rebuilding. They tore down their old building and they've been rebuilding it, which I thought was because they didn't have enough room, but the new building isn't any bigger. I'll show you that in just a little bit. But they've been here for a couple years now, year and a half. Over here is no, I'm forgetting the name of the business, but it's they're vacation rentals. They're fantastic inside. You can see this lawn here. We stayed there a few months at a time between travels, and it is really nice to stay there. Just look it up, it's downtown. I'll try to put a link to it in the, I want to say show notes, but this isn't a podcast, in the description. We're walking over here. On our left is the Livingston Food Pantry, and they have commercial kitchens that you can sort of borrow, rent, and they hand out food to people in need. That's been a huge resource last year especially. Hi there. Giving out food when people were having a hard time, and a lot of people were having a hard time, and so it's just a fantastic community resource where we look after each other, take care of each other, that sort of thing. There's an old Odd Squad barbecue. I haven't been there yet. I really want to go in there. It smells good every day, and I want to try it out. They also have breakfast burritos, which sounds interesting to me. Okay, since it's Wednesday in Livingston, I can walk down the middle of the street for a little bit. Off to our left is the Elks. I always think it's BPOE is for Eagles, but it's the Elks. And it's a fraternal order. And then this is new office space. It used to be Dan Bailey's warehouse area and shipping center, but somebody bought it and rehabbed it. And there's Elk River Books has moved over here, Catherine Lane Interiors, and I believe somebody else. Oh, they actually have a sign up now. We'll go over here and take a look. Elk River Books has a lot of great, they bring in writers to speak and poets to speak and do a lot of talks and that sort of thing. This is I bought ribs from this guy earlier. They were fantastic, man. Thanks a lot. Zach's. He used to have that's local service right there. He had a heck of a time figuring out how to run the credit card Square thing. His helper was gone, and they couldn't figure it out for a little while, but it was good ribs. Oh, I want to point out, Livingston Community Bakery. They're an extension of the Livingston Food Pantry. They do fresh baked goods over there. They have fantastic cookies and buns and that sort of thing. This is the new First Interstate Bank building, and I think they actually have twice as much parking now, which, I mean, it's not my property. I don't have a whole lot of place to say or speak, but I sure would like to see buildings here instead of parking lots, or a park. A little city park would be awesome. Off to the right is the Hyatt House, a bar, and it is, well, take a look at the sign. That tells you, but you need to know. And then the Empire Theater is this. I love this sign, this old classic signage from the 50s or 40s or whatever. Two theaters, two screens. Next to it is the Walk, the only Chinese restaurant currently in town. We have two Thai restaurants. And what we'll do is we'll make a left here. This is, second, and we're on Geyser here. I love these old buildings. Over here is the old United States Post Office. I love this classic building, classic look to it. We're gonna come down Geyser. I'll show you the new First Interstate Bank building. If you've seen earlier Livingston walks, you've seen a big pit there. They got this up and running fairly quickly. It is literally, I think, smaller than the last building, but I'm sure it's differently designed and more secure, more customer friendly or something. I don't know. They didn't ask me, strangely enough, my opinion on that. I've just been reading this book by Andy Weir. He wrote The Martian. It's called Project Hail Mary. Fantastic book, but one of the characters in it speaks strangely and says, you know, "Are you okay?" question. And so he also says things like sarcasm. Says something. So anyway, I feel like sometimes I should do that. This is a historic building. It's one of the original Carnegie libraries. This is the front section. Classic old building. Love this library. My son comes here twice a week, was coming here almost every day before the pandemic. He looks at maps, he reads books, he finds things, he discovers things. It's fantastic. Great resources. We used to bring them. They have all these activities and events for kids and all these programs. So story time and creative things, and we'd come down and listen to story time with the little guys when they were tiny, and that's how we met a lot of people in this town, actually. It was a lot of fun to interact, and the kids got to experience books, and they've got blocks and other things down there. So fun. And the librarians, you know, we get to know the librarians, and they recognize them, and you walk in and like, "Hey, have you seen Andrews?" They're like, "Oh yeah, he's back in the stacks." So, hi there. And then we have this, I'll turn around and show you again here once we get through the trees. They've done this sort of modern extension on it. So you can kind of see. The other thing they did, you can come out to that and read outside if you want, if the weather's permitting. They put solar panels up there, and they've got a little display inside the library, and you can look at how much solar energy they're gathering. It's pretty sweet. This is Franz and Davis Funeral Home, which is unfortunate, you know. People do pass, part of the cycle of life. And we're coming up on Rice Fine Thai Cuisine. It started over in Bozeman by a woman over there. She's got a couple stores. This is one, and I hope they make it. It's a weird location, and they've had trouble. They've got signs up saying they've had trouble finding help. A lot of restaurants in town. In fact, we'll loop around by the soup shack, and I'll show you that. They had to close for the season because they couldn't. It was just too much trouble to try and find people to work the restaurant. It's just, we are getting slammed with tourism, which is great for the economy. However, added business and fewer people wanting to work service industry jobs because of low pay, low margins, that sort of thing. It means a shortage of staffing. Over there's a depot, train depot. I'd love to go down, and they have a model train club, and I would love to go down there and explore it, show you guys that sometime. Got a fellow with his little herding dog. This is a typical dog over here in Livingston, is these sort of collie versions of collies. That's a little miniature guy. Hi there. Good, how are you? Love how friendly everybody is here. Now this is Dan Bailey's. They were sponsoring the bike rally today, one of the sponsors. Used to be a fishing shop, but it was bought by the owner of Timber Trails, Dale Section, and a partner, and they now sell fishing stuff still and guided trips and that sort of thing. So you can see Dan Bailey's Fly Shop here, but you can also see that there are bikes, and they have rafting stuff and outdoor gear, backpacks, maps, camping, backpacking, stoves, all that kind of fun stuff, food, glasses, as well as the flies and rods and lines and all that fun stuff. They also have a bike repair shop. This is Gil's Goods. Awesome food in there. They make great pizzas. Next to the Murray Bar, and you can walk between the two. And the Murray is well known. They make great burgers. The Big Jim chili burger. Awesome old retro signs as well. Kind of wish it was dark enough for you to see them lit up. Maybe I'll come by and do that again sometime. Here, of course, is the Murray Hotel. You can still stay there. Classic old rooms. And if we look right, you will see the mountains, of course, the Empire Theater, Hyatt House Bar, and I'll show you the Murray Hotel here. Pretty cool stuff. Love this sign. Of course, standing here in the middle of the road, hoping I don't get hit. And then over to the left here is the Masonic Temple. You can see some of the inscriptions on the wall there. We're going to go back down to Main Street. This is Park Street, the in-town name for Highway 89 as it goes through town. Over there is the Northern Pacific Beanery, which is sort of a diner, cafe style food, breakfast mainly. I don't think, might do lunch. Fiesta in Jalisco is kind of a franchise out here in the West. Serve Mexican food, super quick service, great people in there. And Cataback Brewing, one of our breweries, we saw their tent down at the farmers market, local brewery. You can order beers there and get food from Fiesta, or you can bring your own food in. We'll sometimes go get pizzas and stuff. This used to be the, Camino Spice, you see that up there. This lady who makes awesome spices and hot chocolate and chais and that sort of thing. This used to be a coffee shop, but has gone out of business because the owners just didn't want to run it anymore. And I think just hasn't found a buyer yet. So if you want to run a coffee shop, please, we need another one. It'd be great to have another one. So I want to tell you about this building that I have to step out in the middle of the road again. I'll cross here just because, it's Livingston. First of all, let's look at this sign. That usually rotates. I don't know why it's not rotating right now. It's all lit up with neon. And then there's the Beanery right next to the railroad tracks, part of the old depot. And then you can see some other stuff. But I want to show you this other building. This used to be called the Guest House Hotel. Somebody bought it. It was just basically a blank wall. It was ugly as sin. Kind of a flop house. Somebody bought it and they were going to fix it up. They kind of did all the facades and stuff. And then got into some, what's that stuff you breathe? You have to have special people. It's too late in the day, sundowning. Anyway, so he backed out, bailed, left all the contractors hanging. So it just sat there for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Finally, somebody came in and finished it up and made it into office space. And now it's got stores and offices and all sorts of stuff. So glad to see that finally, it's called the Albemarle now, finally got some use. This is Main Street. We're coming up on Livingston Bar and Grill. Great little tavern. Used to be owned by Russell Chatham, an artist, and has changed hands many times, has had a lot of different owners and very variable hours and operation, and it's open now and has been the last couple of years, so we're glad to see that. Good food. On the other side of that is Glenn's, but I want to go down Main Street. Glenn's is one of the few places you can eat outside here, at least during the summer, which is really nice, especially this time of day when you can get into the shade. And you see the Montana Watch Company makes these fantastic watches, multi-$1,000 watches, and they're absolutely beautiful. Look them up online because they do a great job of these things. We'll just go over there and take a look. Why not? These aren't even that fancy, but they're hand engraved, hand carved, for lack of a better word. See if I can see in there. They haven't had open office hours or shop hours for a long time, year or so, because of COVID. And I think just they don't get a lot of walk-in sales because they're, several $1,000s. That's Glenn. Go down that hallway and you'll be in the bar. Glenn was a bartender at the Livingston Bar and Grill for a long time and finally bought his own place. This is Wheatgrass Gifts, Books, and Art. She sells new books as well as a lot of note cards and that sort of thing. Really great store. Check it out if you're here and looking for a bookstore. The Stockman Fine Foods, that's a local bar. And then Bob's Outdoor is sort of I would say they sell Filson and Pendleton blankets and that kind of thing. Poor little guy is done for the day. But I love these buildings, these old facades, they're all brick. And, they're 100 years old, which people in Europe are probably scoffing at the idea that that's old. But for us, it is. And I love it. Mustang Fresh Food and Wine. Carol and Dan Sullivan. She is the cook and the culinary genius behind this. Wrote a couple cookbooks, and they used to be a great restaurant, and they have closed shop only because, not because they had to, but, pardon me, because they were just kind of done, And I think the pandemic gave them a good reason to wrap it up and call it good. Over here, see if we can, you see that mural? That's on the side of the building that is the soup bar. They're the ones I mentioned. They closed for the season. I'm hoping they'll open back up this fall. Great soups and that sort of thing. And then next to them is Campione. And some friends of mine are actually outside waiting for a table. They started last year and they have just been crushing it. It's always full. And over here is True North Coffee. It used to be Chad's, then it was something else for a while, but now this guy, James Langtro, I think his last name is, he has started back up. It is a fantastic place for coffee and breakfast and that sort of thing. The Mint Bar is a classic old Montana bar. They do live music a lot. And they also used to serve food. There used to be gambling in there. I don't think they do anymore. But that is that. Hi guys. City walking. Yeah. Hi there. We're just gonna cross the street here. This is the Frame Garden. I want to talk to him about doing that live stream. We've got a title company. Oh, Saxon Friar down there's another great old bookshop. Lovely old building in there. And where are we at? 35. The kitchen shop used to be another kitchen shop, and they moved over to Billings, and the guy that used to work there said, well, I'll open up another one. And they've got great cookware, kitchenware, all the stuff you need. So, if you need something that's decent, come here and you can get all the good stuff. So, and they're super nice in there too. Riverside Hardware, great guy in there. Mordam Art, or Mordam Art, is a fun one. They sell a lot of jewelry, and the painter is the owner of his partner is the owner of this. I don't know the whole thing. This is Pinky's Cafe. Pinky's Cafe used to be run by a guy named Pinky. He retired 5 or 6 years ago, maybe more. He's a musician too. Anyway, great breakfast spot. High trash boutique, sort of what do you call that? Kind of a secondhand store, I think. The Sport Restaurant. They've had staffing issues. They can't seem to find people. Cool old Montana restaurant, usually good food, depending on who owns it. Livingston Home Outfitters. I did a 360 photo shoot in there earlier today. And then Community Health Partners, our local, would say community health partners. It's a doctor's office, and they do discounted health care, subsidized health care, and they do a fantastic job. I know several people affiliated with that, and it's really good. So it's a great asset to the community. The Office Lounge and Liquor Store. That says all you need to know. You got a liquor store, and they got a lounge. Sports bar kind of place. The Pickle Barrel. Oh, Educatio is a sort of, it's not a homeschool, and it's not, what do you call that stuff? It's not a Waldorf school or the other one, but it is something different. A friend of ours runs this, and it looks like a really cool educational option here. Sort of a lot of self-directed learning, a lot of interrogative learning, if that makes sense. And then next door is the Pickle Barrel, which is a sandwich shop. Started over in Bozeman. This is sort of a branch or another restaurant of theirs. Well, did something different. People out riding their bikes, that's fun. The Park County Senior Center, a great resource again for our seniors here. They have apartments. They used to have a secondhand store at the bottom, but they've converted that to a beauty bar. And then they have a recreation area down in the basement, not the basement, in the main floor. Sorry. What else do we have here? We've got a couple pawn shops. But we also have Out of the Blue Antiques, and inside in the back is Betty's Bottle Shop. Sells wine and beer and other lovely, tasty things, and they have some really fun, it's not really, I guess it's an antique shop, but she's got a really great eye for really cool things that are super interesting and definitely fun, even just to walk through if you're here in Livingston. And then of course buy stuff if you want to. The Junkie's Junk Shop. Junkie is a family, local family. I know one of them serves on the fire department, one of the gals, and I think they're a ranching family. But Junkie's Collectibles, I think they're closing up that store. I don't know if they're moving. Hopefully they're just moving, or if they're closing up. Some more secondhand shops. And then up here on the right is Neptune's Tap House Eatery. They serve sushi and other seafood oriented fare, which you wouldn't expect to be good here in Montana, but you know, we're just a short plane ride from the coast. And it actually, it's good. It's not Japan good, it's not high-end New York, LA good, but it's good. And it's fun, and it's one of the bigger restaurants. You can also eat outside. As you can see, they have an upper deck that you can go up to and eat up there. Across here, we're on Main Street. This is crossing Clark. You can see a sign for East Side Coffee. I'm not going to go down there because they're not open, but it's kind of in this little residential area right around the corner from my house, actually. And they have this outdoor garden with all the seating, and it's really nice. And they have, I think, probably the best in town baked goods in terms of breakfast baked goods. They also do savory things like ham and egg croissants and burritos and that sort of thing. But I had a blackberry cream cheese croissant in there. Oh, it was so good. Art walks, 4th Fridays in Livingston. So we're coming up on one. That's why my friend wants to talk to me, or we want to talk soon. All right. And then we'll go down here a little ways and see the high school. Again, you can see the mountains in the distance. This is our view every single day that there's not smoke or a blistering snowstorm. It's just this is why we live here. You know, you get days like this and it's awesome. Why people don't live here are the 70-mile-an-hour winds in the winter and the 20 degrees below zero. But you kind of get to today and you forget about it. It's amazing. That, and honestly, that's really a small part of it. Really, the reason we live here is the people. We've got a friend network here and they're all wonderful people, and we just like hanging out. Hi guys. Everybody's out riding their bike home from the market. It's probably wrapping up about now. So if you've been on these walks before with me, you know we cross Fleshman Creek a lot. We're coming up on that. It's this weird, they've rerouted it somehow, and actually on the other side of Fleshman Creek was, it was an island for many years. Seabeck Island, I think? No, that's further down off my street. But even on the map still, it's referred to as an island on some maps. Something Island, I can't remember what it is. Up ahead you see the Park County High School. The Rangers are their mascot, or their totem, or whatever you would call that. Here's Fleshman Creek. You can see it's pretty low right now, but it's kind of a nice pastoral ambience here in town. Nice little addition. Sacagawea or Sacagawea. There's some different ways of saying that. Oh, I tell you what, it is nice being in that shade again. Those of you back east or down in Texas or in humid areas will think 88 and think, oh, that sounds really hot. And it is, especially if you're in the sun. But in the shade, it is so dry here that it is wonderful. It is very pleasant. Love all these vans. It's camper vans now. Been a thing for the last 5 years. Pretty cool. Hashtag van life, is that what they say? You can see the sun has gone down a fair amount. The light's changing. And it's getting prettier and prettier and prettier here. Mustang. And we're going to come back here towards the market so I can get my bike again. I rode my bike, I mentioned, down to the market. My boys and I. And we'll pick that up before we end. Looks like the pool is kind of closed up shop. This little wooded area, they've let it go fallow for years and years and years. And then this year they decided, well, you know, that's a lot of land. We could probably do something with it. So they've been cleaning it up, clearing out some of the underbrush. I don't know what they've decided to do with it. Hopefully they won't build on it. They'll keep it, use it to study nature or something like that. But we'll see. I'll let you know if I find out, which would probably take a quick Google search. But I got to remember to do it. So, let's go see the lagoon again in this light. It's pretty. You can see everybody leaving, packing up. Pulling out into traffic, that sort of thing. Here's the escape park. Here's the lagoon. Pretty. And pretty unsafe to swim in. I wouldn't say unsafe, but maybe unhealthy. A lot of goose poop and E. coli floating around in there. That duck is disagreeing with me. There's a bouldering wall over there directly across, and there's like 6 kids hanging out on top just doing kid stuff. I think that's great. I love to see these kids out on their own, doing their own thing, learning about the world, mostly staying out of trouble. And the trouble they get in really isn't, most of the time, isn't that troublesome. This is the Civic Center off to the left. All right, guys, let's go see what's left of the market. Sort of do another walk around and see who's packing up. The detritus of economic frenzies. Capitalistic minimalism. Oh, the kids that were swimming are out and about now. All right, guys, this is it. This is my bicycle stop. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed seeing the farmers market downtown in the evening. I really will try to do a better job of not missing video days. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments section if you have any questions, thoughts, corrections, opinions, that sort of thing. Just be nice and gentle. And of course, come back and see us again. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but it'll be interesting. It'll be in Montana. Well, maybe. And hopefully it'll be in the woods. So we'll see you again soon. Until then, keep on stepping.